This week on Culture Q,
Jojo Siwa breaks the internet.
a red carpet chat with Jeopardy's Amy Schneider.
And a Florida teen defies the Don't Say Gay law.
What is going on? It is Andy Luana here.
And I'm Cheryl Lazar. This is Culture Q.
And here's some of the highlights from this week in queer culture. No stranger to making headlines, America's queer sweetheart Jojo Siwa has everybody talking yet again. And no, it's not just about how we feel she was robbed on Dancing with the Stars. It was announced last week that Siwa would be taking on an entirely different dance competition show, taking on the role as a judge when the hit series So You Think You Can Dance returns on May 18th. Siwa announced the news on Instagram saying, "I am so grateful that I am going to be a judge. It's such an honor to be part of this show's comeback." The season 17 premiere will mark the first time the show has been back on the air since September 2019. And joining Siwa on the judges panel will be Glee star Matthew Morrison and veteran judge Stephen Twitch Boss. But this isn't the only major news that Siwa dropped this week. In an interview with the comedy podcast Racial Uncensored, the Dance Mom star opened up about her relationship status.
I am not single and I don't want to mingle. No, I'm a loyal lady.
Mingle?
Sorry ladies, but it looks like Jojo Siwa is once again off the market. And while she didn't disclose the name of the lucky lady, she did let us know that she is very, very, very happy. Now, if you thought this was all the Jojo Siwa news we had for you this week, think again, because this girl is just one who cannot stay out of the spotlight. Siwa broke the internet with a haircut that was seen around the world, chopping off her luscious long locks in favor of a short crop. And the queers are living for it. One Twitter user said, "I've been waiting months, if not years, for Jojo Siwa to get the CGH, the crazy gay haircut." Another wrote, "Please let me know if we are about to witness the butchification of Jojo Siwa in real time." After a week like this, it seems pretty clear that this is Miss Jojo Siwa's world, and we're just living in it.
The saga between Disney and Florida's Don't Say Gay bill continues as the media giant struggles to save face, and many of us are still not happy with their delayed action. Since the story broke, it seems like they're trying to get it together with internal meetings discussing the future of LGBTQ representation in their projects going forward. A video from a meeting around their Reimagine Tomorrow initiative was recently leaked online by conservative activist Christopher Rufo. And although the leak was intended to spark outrage among his conservative base, it actually offered others a lot of hope.
We have many, many, many LGBTQIA characters in our stories, and yet we don't have enough leads. Perhaps had this moment not happened, I as a leader and me as my colleagues would not have focused on. And going forward, I certainly will be more so.
It was reported that going forward, 50% of Disney's characters will be LGBTQ and or people of color. And we've already seen some movement, like trans actress Talisa Garcia's casting announcement for the new Disney Plus show Willow, and the release of the extremely queer Better Nate Than Ever. All of this is great news, unless of course you fall on the side of conservatives like Candace Owens.
The greatest Disney villain of all time is Disney itself. Boycott them. Every park, every show, every coloring book.
Excuse the following over-the-top eye roll and deep breath. Owens called Disney and its supporters groomers and pedophiles, and unfortunately her fan base has taken her words and run with them, even staging a protest outside of Disney's studio in Burbank, California.
Boycott Disney! Boycott Disney! Boycott Disney! Boycott Disney! Boycott Disney! Boycott Disney!
And while tensions continue to grow on all sides of the issue, Disney seems to be finally making their stance a bit more clear, saying this: "We are dedicated to standing up for the rights and safety of LGBTQ+ members of the Disney family, as well as the LGBTQ+ community in Florida and across the country." Meanwhile, some of Disney's actual family has come out. Charlie Cora Disney is an heir to the Disney fortune and has come out as transgender, speaking out against the Florida bill too. Charlie is a high school biology and environmental science teacher, and they're also the 30-year-old great-grandchild of Walt Disney. Their parents, Roy and Sherry Disney, even just announced that they're donating $500,000 to HRC. They also recently told LA Times that they're ready to be on the front lines of the issue, and shared why, saying, "I feel like I don't do very much to help. I don't call senators or take action. I felt like I could be doing more."
As you know, at the GLAAD Awards red carpet, I got the chance to chat with Jeopardy superstar Amy Schneider about her meteoric rise on the show and what she has planned for the future. After becoming one of the top winning contestants on the show, Schneider has not only become a fan favorite, but also a queer icon.
Obviously, there's a big talk of representation, especially on TV, for people like you who have gone on the show and really shown people like they can do this as well. What do you think about the message or like the outcry of people who have really loved seeing you, especially be such a victor on the show?
Yeah, it's been, you know, I always knew that this representation was important, but I didn't know how important until this happened and until I started getting all of these messages all over the country, people saying how much it meant to them personally. And then I think back to myself, like in the first 30 years of my life, and if I had seen someone like me on television, if I had seen someone like me being celebrated, it would have, you know, saved so much pain in my life. So I'm glad to be, you know, giving those people what I wasn't able to get.
Boasting 40 consecutive wins, Schneider became the second longest winning Jeopardy contestant, highest winning female contestant, and the first trans person to ever qualify for the Tournament of Champions.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is I've been watching the show my whole life. So, you know, I'm just sort of used to the way they word things, and I'm used to the sorts of things they ask about. And obviously, I have a good memory, and I'm curious about a lot of stuff, and I like to learn.
Are there any activities you do to like keep your mind sharp, or like anything that you do? Because like mine are puzzles.
Yeah, you know, I do crosswords, and I've been doing Wordle and that sort of thing. I think a lot of it, though, was more about exercises to keep myself calm and to develop, like, be able to focus. That really was important.
After her historic run on the show, Schneider got engaged to her girlfriend of 2 years, Genevieve Davis. And she has a little advice for anyone out there who's thinking of getting engaged themselves.
Make sure it's not a complete surprise. That never goes well.
Was it a surprise for you?
The exact timing of it was a surprise. She caught me off guard, but I knew that it was like going to be happening soon.
While the engagement might not have been a complete surprise, Schneider has definitely kept us all on our toes, and we can't wait to see what's in store for her future.
Is there anything that you have your sights set on right now? Anything in your near life, personal, post-Jeopardy life?
Yeah, well, you know, got to plan this wedding at some point. And I've definitely, you know, something I'm very interested in is writing a book. And, you know, I don't have any particular announcement about that, but that's something I'm very interested in.
How do you even start writing a book? Like,
you know, you just start typing, like, you know.
And now it's time to take a look at the LGBTQ news you need to know. Alabama is the latest state in the U.S. to enact anti-LGBTQ laws in what's being called the most anti-transgender legislative package ever passed. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey signed the bills into law late last week, which bans both trans healthcare for minors and the discussion of LGBTQ topics in the classroom. Now that the laws are in effect, trans students K through 12 no longer have access to bathrooms or locker rooms that match their gender. And anyone found giving a minor gender-affirming care could face up to $15,000 in fines and up to 10 years in prison. Alabama State Director for the HRC, Carmarian D. Anderson Harvey, commented on the decision saying, "They've jeopardized the future of these doctors, families, and transgender youth who are all considering that their livelihoods will be in Alabama. Shame on Governor Ivey." It was also reported last week that the city of Palm Springs, California, would be providing trans and non-binary individuals with a universal basic income. Great? Well, not when we found out the truth.
It is not what the headlines are reporting. The headlines are wrong. And forgive me for saying that loudly, but it needs to be said. The headlines have got it wrong.
Palm Springs Mayor Lisa Middleton has set the record straight. What the city actually did was invest $200,000 in DAP Health and QueerWorks to develop the application process to gain funding from the state government and not directly fund universal basic income. One day, I guess we'll get it, right? And finally, a Florida teen, Will Larkins, went viral when they defied the new Don't Say Gay law and gave their history class a lesson about Stonewall.
So, the Stonewall Uprising. Essentially, people were fed up with the abuse, and Stonewall was the tipping point.
And this isn't the first time the gay and non-binary junior has spoken out against the law. They've organized a school walkout and testified against the bill before the state Senate, and even wrote an op-ed for the New York Times. And to all the trolls and haters in the comments, Larkins had a clear message. "I'm a 17-year-old high school junior teaching a historical event to my classmates. We have learned much more intense history in this class." Well, thank God for people like them. It gives me hope about the next generation. And that's your look at the LGBTQ news you need to know.
As you and I both know, Revry doesn't just feature great shows like ours, but a ton of great fiction and nonfiction projects for and by the community. Let's look at a few of our favorites this week at the Revry Streaming Guide. First up, and just in time for Passover, is Not a Still Life, a documentary portrait that follows an older gay Jewish man who undergoes a personal evolution as he navigates the highs and lows in his own life and offers us a spirited look at love and life. And our next recommendation on the list is the comedy series Scales, a show about a gay man named Remy and his two best friends as they figure out how to find stable relationships outside the ones they have with each other. Ready to confront his inability to be alone, Remy must confront his past and present loves if he ever hopes to truly move on. And rounding out today's list is For They Know, Not What They Do, a documentary you can watch for a little Easter treat. Following the legalization of marriage equality in the US, the film looks at the intersection of religion, sexual orientation, and gender identity in America and was called Necessary Viewing by Out.com. And of course, as always, you can find each of these titles and so much more streaming right now, right here on Revry.
Finally, it's time for some feel-good stories in our Culture Q inspiration, and this week it's all about gay proposals. At one of her concerts in Brazil, queer icon Miley Cyrus invited a gay couple up on stage so that one of them could propose to the other. Declaring his love for his boyfriend, the crowd learned that the couple met at a Miley Cyrus concert 7 years prior. And even if Miley couldn't understand their Portuguese, she was overjoyed for them and even cracked a little joke.
Forever, bitch! Yes! Congratulations! Honey, I hope your marriage goes better than mine. Mine was a fucking disaster.
Love me some Miley, and this wasn't the only stage gay proposal that happened this week. Survivor Zeke Smith popped the big question to his boyfriend Nico Santos of Superstore fame on stage at the GLAAD Awards. The couple met at the awards ceremony back in 2018 and have been together ever since. So it was only fitting that they take their relationship to the next level back at the place where it all began.
Nico, your love has taught me how to love. You are my other half, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
Santos later confirmed the engagement on Instagram in a post saying, "I said yes, you have my heart forever." Okay, that last clip actually got me emotional.
I know, my boyfriend should take some notes on that.
Okay.
Yeah. And with that, it's Andy Lawani signing off.
And I'm Cheryl Lazard. Thanks again for tuning in to This Week on Culture Q.
Be sure to join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, live and always on demand, right here on Revry.